Hello, Internet. Welcome back. Demagen here. We are continuing onwards in Act 4, I think. This is technically Act 4 of ENDWALKER. I mean, the Act thing's entirely made up by me, just to try and give myself some structure, but Act 4. The Blasphemy Unmasked. Forgive me, my friends, but I must return to Magaduta for the time being. There I can better manage this crisis and dispatch my troops as the situation demands. In that case, we shall carry out an investigation of our own here in the city. Perhaps the residents can tell us more about the first of the transformations and the conditions under which it occurred. If we can ascertain what exactly triggered these tragic events, it may give us some insight as to possible solutions. Time is of the essence. Let us split into 3 groups that we may cover more ground. Alisei and I will go to Pax's Path. Tancred and Ishtola pray mate for Dharma. I'll leave Arthur to Graha and you, Demagen. Any information you can gather on the first blasphemy or the manifestation of the final days here in the city will be most helpful. When we've completed our respective inquiries, let us reconvene in front of Magaduta that we might share what we've learned with the satrap. Look at Alfie taking charge. Shall we be off then? Arthur is home to the high crucible of Alchemia, whose alchemists forged many of our warding scales. That seems as good a place as any to begin our investigation, don't you think? I spoke briefly with Nuhadin, the chief alchemist there, on our last visit. He should be happy to answer our queries. Okay. Yes. This away. Come on, Graha. Walkies. Yeah, I assume we're going to get to go outside the city into the other part of the zone shortly. This is such a cool looking place. All those colours. Little dinosaur, which reminds me, it is time that we bring forth the baby hippo. Ah, I remember those red eyes. You were with those scions who commissioned the scales from us, yes? I welcome you back to the High Crucible. What brings you here in these troubling times? We are assisting the satrap investigating the crisis that plagues the city. Did you happen to catch sight of any of the creatures? I did. As I was going about my work, I was disturbed by crashing footsteps so powerful that the very ground shook. I rushed outside and could not believe what I beheld. The night sky was burning. Suddenly I heard panicked screams coming from the direction of Balsan Bazaar. In the next instant, a monstrous beast poked its head out from amidst the stalls. A handful of the Radiant rushed to the scene, only to be sent sprawling as the fiend and its minions propelled themselves skyward. So, the blasphemy came from the vicinity of the markets. This knowledge may prove useful. I thank you for sharing your tale. Well, I do believe we now know where we should inquire next. To the bazaar. Interesting. So is it going to have a very specific point of origin? And if so, what could that mean? Is it related to some object? Some crystal source? So this is Thavnarian weave. I must say, it bears a resemblance to the traditional fabrics of Corvus. Small wonder really, given that it's just across the water. Not that I'm much of an expert in Corvosic culture, of course. I've not had the occasion to visit my ancestral home since coming to Charlian. And like as not, I will never reside there again. That said, in recent days, I felt more acutely aware of my heritage and grateful for it. It is thanks to my forebears that I inherited the royal eye and with it the wisdom of ancient Alec. And so, well, I simply hope that my countrymen are safe, and one day when this calamity is but a memory, I would like to see Corvus again, if only once. They're playing that up quite a lot. Forgive me, but my shop's closed until further notice. Needless to say, we've more pressing concerns these days. We've not come in search of wares, but information concerning the enormous fiend that tore through the bazaar. Did you perchance witness anything? I'm afraid not, my friend. I was here the whole time, so I only saw its little minions. Made a mess of the place, they did. While that was all going on, the great big one tore to the west side of the bazaar. You'd have better luck asking there. To the west, then. Is something the matter, traveller? If you are lost, perhaps I can be of assistance. Your offer is most appreciated. We're not lost, but we are in need of information. Might you know anything about the gargantuan beast that rampaged through the bazaar? Aye, I saw it all, though I wish I had not. I was going about my work when all of a sudden a piercing scream cut through the air. I turned around and there was the fiend, its massive body bursting through that entryway with the force of a tidal wave, and then it was gone, as quickly as it came. Sisters, have mercy, what is happening to the world? What am I to do? Is nowhere safe? Settle down, friend. The danger has passed, at least for now. If it is not too painful to remember, could you tell us what you saw? First I heard the screams, then a horde of ravening beasts came charging towards us. One of them was huge, bigger than a married, throwing people around like ragdolls, and it was eating them. I hid under the counter, saw others do the same. But the shrieking and wailing kept getting louder, more voices in the throng, beasts or victims I couldn't tell. I knew not what was happening. I still don't. That is enough, my good man. You were brave to share with us your tale. Many of your fellow merchants are safe. The High Crucible too has survived, mostly unscathed. Pray, stay close to your friends and loved ones and rest your body and mind while you are able. I suspect that is the most we can expect the people here to tell us. I think it best we find a place outside the bazaar where we might rest and review our findings. I'm assuming it was one of the merchants. Hasn't told us much about the actual point of origin, though. Judging by their accounts, the transformation had already occurred by the time the beast reached the bazaar. It tore through the west side of the bazaar and headed towards the Aetherite Plaza. In other words, the Blasphemy may have first appeared in this vicinity. That being the case, the people in that Mayan can surely tell us more. Man, that's quite the view, isn't it? Going after that enormous beast, are you? Ah, I saw it. Including the very instant that poor bastard transformed. Damn the gods for putting me there. It started over there by the window. A few men, merchants probably, talking and drinking. Conversation must have taken a turn for the worst. Next thing they know, their leader, I suppose he was, buried his head in his hands and black mist was swirling around him. Then his whole body bursts apart and there stands a hideous slavering beast, massive and foul, gaping maws and bulging eyes. His friends start shrieking, then the black mist comes again until the change takes them too. Stuff of nightmares, I tell you. Nightmarish indeed. Do you perchance know who these merchants were? Nah, I'm a decorator by trade. Not much cause to mingle with their sort. Saw Melille the barmaid chatting with them though, she might know something. I wonder if they're from a specific place. Even after repairing all that damage, it'll take a while for business to pick up again. You mean the Blasphemy? That's what the Radiant have been calling it anyway. I saw it too, we all did. I was standing here at the counter as Marie poured me a drink when suddenly there came this dreadful sound like a pained, angry groan. It was unlike anything I've ever heard. I turned around in shock, and from an ominous cloud of black mist rose the creature, enormous and ghastly to behold. As for what happened next, to recall it sends shivers up my spine. By some stroke of fortune, I was able to slip outside before the beast got its claws on me. But the sight that greeted me offered no solace. The blue sky above turned red as blood. Marie, myself, and the other survivors clung to each other for dear life until the radiant host came to our aid. Wait, did I hear you correctly? The beast manifested before the sky began to burn. I'm certain of it. The windows here offer a clear view of the sky, and I saw nothing out of the ordinary until the beast appeared and began to rage. Huh. That does not seem to be the order of expectation. Oh, hello there. Welcome to Marie's Moraine. What can we get you? Just information, please. We have come not for libations, but rather for information. You are Malil, yes? We are investigating the so-called blasphemy on the satrap's behalf. We hear it was one of your customers, a merchant, that first underwent the transformation. What can you tell us about him? He was something of a regular here, especially of late. Khazal was his name. He ran his own Oh, was that the guy that we met down on the docks? Like, right at the start, the guy that couldn't... Yeah, it was, wasn't he? It's through him we met Matsia. Yes, the names ring a bell. Didn't you meet them both on your first trip to Thavnir? If I recall correctly, Kalzar ran a trading operation in Yedlamad, and was there you made Matsia's acquaintance. Yes, that is the same Kalzar, no doubt. A rather successful man from what I gather, but losing everything. That said, it was clear that he had fallen on hard times of late. Those ghastly towers popping up everywhere cannot have been good for business. Even now, with the towers gone, the collapse of the Empire has led to all sorts of problems elsewhere. The market for luxuries is surely not what it once was. Trying times for the head of a trading consortium, indeed. Khazar was a compassionate man. Even as his own business suffered, he did what he could to provide for the artisans, fishermen, and many others who counted on him to sell their wares. Indeed, that was the very topic of yesterday's meeting, as far as I could hear. Yet as they discussed matters further, Khazar's tone grew grave and grim. It was then that... Forgive me. I would not have you recall the memory if it brings you pain. If I could, I would ask just one more thing. Did you notice anything unusual about Khazar in particular? Please, anything at all? Sorry, nothing springs to mind. Perhaps someone else can help you. Khazar lived for his work and had no family that I know of. His employers and associates knew him best, but they too are lost to us. Still, perhaps his neighbours know something I do not. I can direct you to them if you believe it would help. What do you say? Yeah. It is a mystery that needeth unravelling. Amidst the apocalypse. Khazar made his home in Karma, a nearby residential area. From what I gather, Khazar lived there since childhood and was known throughout the neighbourhood. Karma, the name is new to me. How do we get there? I'll write down some directions. I cannot promise you that you will find what you seek there. There's nothing else. It is a start. Let's see where this leads take us. Okay. Back towards the Aetheryte Plaza. Yeah, that that little piece of information about him transforming before the change in the skies is interesting. I'm just being suspicious of everything currently. And this must be Karma. We've arrived at last. Let us begin questioning the residents without delay. No doubt someone here can tell us more about Kalzal. Given recent events, I imagine many are taking shelter indoors. Yes. I suppose we can go inside some of the buildings, can't we? Aha! Pariga! Could you come back another time? I just woke up and I'm not exactly in the mood for idle chit-chat. Well, that's one way to avoid the panic, I suppose. Pardon our intrusion, you may not have noticed, but a great danger has come to Thavnir. I encourage you to stay alert and prepare to flee the city should the situation turn dire. But before we leave you in peace, pray allow us to ask a question or two. Did you know a local merchant named Kalzal? If so, did you notice anything unusual about him recently? Kalzal? Aye, I know him. In fact, we spoke just the other day. Like many others, his business was doing poorly. Still, it seems as though he'd managed to turn things around thanks to a generous order from Revida Fibers, while he was practically dancing in the streets. I hadn't spoken with him since, but I assume it all went well. Jinaba might be able to tell you more though, as I recall he was the one who brokered the arrangements. Jinabaya, rather, at Revida Fibers. Let's make a point to visit him after we've spoken with the other locals. Okay. So, something hopeful. Kalzal, you say? Yes, I've known him since he was a boy. If there ever was a man who was born to be a merchant, it was him. Always easy to depart and late, always early to depart and late to return. He'd spend his days procuring the finest wares and seeking out willing customers. You could say it came to him as easily as breathing. Sadly, business was flagging of late. No surprise, really, what with how dangerous travel has become. He was cooped up in his house from dawn till dusk the other day, no doubt racking his brain for a way to turn his fortunes around. Then at night I heard the door open. I looked out to see Kalzal sitting on a bench, his hood aglow. A man with the weight of the world on his shoulders. Either that, or he'd been infected with something. The situation must have been quite dire indeed. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary? Nothing to speak of. Other than the troubles with his consortium, he was the same old Kalzal, cordial and honest like always. These questions you are asking, has something happened to him? He wasn't caught up in that terrible incident at the bazaar, was he? I don't travel much these days, but my daughter's told me not to venture outside. Stuck in here as I am, I've heard little about these bazaar goings-on. Rest assured, the city is safe for now, but the situation may change without warning. I urge you, stay close to your daughter and be prepared to take refuge should the satrap order it. Very kind of you, Graha, to not make specific mention. It's good that they brought Kalzal back, actually, and I'm assuming there's going to be a very specific reason why it's Kalzal, as opposed to just, oh, it's somebody we've met before and it'll have a greater impact. And it might just be that. It is quite the sight, the red sky above. During the final days of yore, the heavens burned and the stars fell. Creation magics run amok. That was my assumption when I saw Amarot. Perhaps the ancients believed the same. The terror of a single powerful individual was the cause of their calamity. And yet those selfsame horrors now manifest themselves before our eyes. What could it be that sets the heavens aflame and turns ordinary men into beasts? I feel like it is something else. There's more to it than we've been led to believe. They're farming silkworms. This must be Revidio Fibers, where we should find Junibama. There they are. And hurry, I say, there's no time to waste. Pardon me, but you're in charge of buying and selling here, yes? We have a few questions that we'd like to... I'm sorry, but I simply don't have time to chat. If you haven't noticed, we have our hands full at the moment. We must carry all our wares and equipment to safety before those accursed beasts return. In that case, might we be of assistance? Perhaps we could speak when the job is done? Very well. You can start by helping us move our equipment. Ask the others what to put where. Fabulous! Some menial labour. And you can carry our fabrics. That's a door. Go through the door and speak with Kamala. She'll tell you the rest. Remember, these textiles are our livelihood. Handle them with care. Of course, I am naturally dainty. This area is for employees only. Out, out. What's that? You come to help? Oh, pray speak to me in the river. Kind stranger, I welcome your assistance. On your way here, you passed 3 storehouses, yes? I'd like you to carry that small crate to Nahabifel by the storehouse near the hatchery. The crate of clothing is for Manuna. That massive crate there goes to Zemira by the middle storehouse. Watch your back with that one. Those are all the crates we have ready. Once they've been delivered, consider your work here complete. Oh, am I supposed to remember? No, fortunately not. What? No, it's... The storehouses are... Oh. That is it. And you've come to the right place. We thank you for your aid. If you have any crates of finished products such as carpets, clothing and the like, pray bring them into our primary storehouse. Crate full of clothing. Take that off your hands. Many thanks. Weighty crate. Fortunately, we are strong. Strong Demagen is strong. Load bearing. I say you're quite the brawny one, aren't you? Good thing that. Never know when you're going to need to defend yourself in these unpredictable times. Crate full of fabrics, is it? Exactly what I was hoping to receive. Here, let me put that away for you. You've carried all the crates to the storehouses, you say? And so quickly too. Why, I've never seen anyone so strong. I and my associates will see to the rest, so please return to Jinabaha and assure him our work is proceeding apace. To tell the truth, we're all grateful for this distraction. Too many terrible happenings of late, but generous souls like yourself give me hope that we may emerge from this trial even stronger. I pray we meet again in more peaceful times. Done as I asked, have you? If Kamala is satisfied to work, then so am I. You've done us a great favour, traveller. I too have delivered the instruments and apparatus entrusted to me. You both have my thanks. With our wares safely stored away, we'll not lose any more to those fiends. I take it that your establishment did not escape the attack unscathed. We did not. Thankfully, most of our workers had already left for the day, but those of us still here saw it all. We looked to the burning skies of confusion, And then, before we could even begin to make sense of it, a hideous creature burst through the doors, shrieking. We ran for our lives, but one of my colleagues was not so fortunate. He cried out, a scream of such agony, such terror. In the next instant, he too sprouted fearsome claws. So it's people that... No, it can't be people that show fear are turning into monsters, because all of them will have been. The sight of it caused another fellow to panic, and then... he too transformed. So it's like a plague. I'm sorry, there was something you wanted to ask. Indeed. You knew the merchant Calzal, did you not? I believe he had some dealings with your establishment. Calzal, I knew him well. We'd arranged for his consortium to deliver a large shipment of fabrics, but in the end we received a better offer and had to turn him down. I understand his business is struggling, but so is ours. Another of our most reliable trading partners agreed to transport the goods for a much smaller commission, and we'd have been fools to refuse. I felt terrible for withdrawing the offer, but you must understand we simply had no choice. He tried to put on a brave face when I delivered the news, but his dejection and despair were plain as day. He said he'd discuss it with his associates, but I could tell he'd all but given up hope. Dejection and despair. A plague. You remember what we saw in Vanaspati, yes? Soldiers and jungle dwellers pushed to the very brink, turning into beasts one after the next. It would seem the same phenomenon occurred here, the poor craftsmen attacked by the fiends as well as those that witnessed it all undergoing the change. I suspect that everything began with Calzal. By all accounts, it was he who suffered from the most profound and piercing despair. Right. Could that be it? That such intense emotions... This is where the flower's going to come, isn't it? Such intense emotions were what triggered his transformation. Much remains unclear, but I believe we are drawing closer to an answer. At any rate, we must discuss our findings with the others. Oh. Level 87. Beyond the depths of despair. We were to reconvene with the others in front of Magaduta, were we not? That should be just outside. With any luck, they will have already returned from their own investigations. My friend, we must take our leave. I pray that your establishment is spared further tragedy. But remember, your lives are far more precious than any wares. If you are ordered to flee, do so without hesitation. Indeed. I thank you for your concern and pray you two take care as well. Oh, we're not likely to put ourselves in any kind of harm's way. That wouldn't be us at all. Hi, guys. Finished rounds and ready to share? Why, yes.
There you are. You've spoken with the survivors.
There's something more to this.
Indeed. We thought to share what we have gleaned, that we might together gain a greater understanding of present circumstances.
Fortuitous timing. Alize and I completed our own investigations not long ago.
Then we should take a moment to compare notes. Shall we begin with the two of you?
Yes, leave it to me to recount the things that we have just discovered. Everybody thinketh.
So the merchant Calzal was gravely concerned about his business in the days preceding his untimely end.
The tales we heard were much the same. The first victims to be changed into blasphemies were all overcome with anguish of one manner or another. Then those who saw their loved ones stolen before their eyes succumbed to a similar panic, setting in motion a chain of transformations.
So like the chain of creation magic's gone awry in Amaroth.
Fear, unease, despair. These negative feelings serve as a catalyst.
If so, then it is not unlike the calamity that befell the ancients.
I just said that.
With their creation magics, they unwittingly gave form to untold horrors. Had they simply lost control, surely it would have manifested in many forms, not all of them monstrous. Yet
True.
somehow, this phenomenon is triggered solely by the darkness in their hearts, a common thread with what we now witness.
Common, but not identical. While the beasts the ancients faced were forged with magic alone, those of today are born of sentient beings.
Maybe because the just isn't the power anymore because of the sundering.
Why remains to be seen. But there is one fundamental difference between us and our predecessors. Our souls are sundered, whereas theirs were not. Perhaps that single variable makes all the difference.
Yeah.
If I may, there was another detail that troubled me.
So rather than it being manifested externally, it is manifested internally because their souls were too dense, maybe, to transform, whereas our souls are not, essentially. This is about the sky, isn't
We
it?
have it on good authority that Karl Zahl's transformation took place before the skies began to burn.
What? If that's true, then the situation's more dire than we realized. It means even if there's no ominous sign presaging the final days, anyone, anywhere, has the potential to become a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Even in lands we thought safe, even as we speak.
Calm. Well, no, actually, don't calm. Be panic.
Look! It's the Satrap! The Satrap!
Thank the heavens.
That strut, though.
My countrymen, I am relieved and heartened to see you strong and safe. While the danger has not yet passed, far from it, allow me to assure you that the beasts that raged within the city walls have been exterminated to the last. Outside this sanctuary, the brave men and women of the Radiant Host and our dragon ally continue to battle our unholy foes. I pray these tidings put your minds at ease and help you calm your hearts. Have faith that we shall soon conquer this terrible trial.
Don't know about that.
Your Excellency, is there any word from Palaka's stand? My grandson was bound for there yesterday, and I worry for his life.
We are still awaiting a report, but I promise you, as soon as I have aught to share.
Your Excellency, I bring grave news.
Bum, 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 bum.
You are?
I'm Matzia,
Oh, Matzia.
of Akyali, a humble fisherman. Ah, I remember you from our first visit. Wait, you're... But no, that can wait. When the skies turned red, I set off for Palaka's stand,
Oh dear.
fearing for the safety of a friend. But as I drew near the village, I saw dreadful beasts all about.
No! Gods have mercy!
Oh dear.
Your Excellency! Save my grandson, I beg of you.
We will spare no effort to save all we can, but you must remain calm.
Calm? You tell me to be calm? You saw those beasts? They tore our bravest warriors limb from limb. What if we are too late, huh? They catch him, sink their fangs into him? The fangs! The screams!
Get away from her, now!
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh shit.
Damn it! We've got to kill them before it spreads.
We'll handle this. See the townspeople to safety.
Yeah, it's a plague. Essentially, it's just
As fast as you can!
going to have a knock-on effect. And how do you stop that? What the hell is that thing? Apart from cool looking.
No!
Can we... Oh, dear Lord. Was that Satra?
Vitra, our people, you must save them.
Oh,
Enough! You must run. For their sake and your own. Yes, you will survive. You must.
hey, she's still got a bubble. What was that? Aha.
Be strong, my friends! Fear not, for we will defeat these abominations!
Rousing speech, eh?
Brave men and women of the Radiant Host, lend your Stola and Thancred your aid. Let not a single beast escape. The rest of you, flee this place. Carry the wounded if you must. Head indoors or underground. Above all, stay calm. No beast will follow you. We will see to that.
Leader of men. 100 years of practice and experience.
Alphino! Alizé! Leave the city to us, and make for Palika's stand at once! Matsya, show my friends to the village. I promise you, they're more capable than the host's finest.
They're right there, Thancred.
Right. Go with them, will you?
Of course.
We will save these people. As many as we can.
Well. Shit. I feel like an awful lot of this series has basically been me saying, well, shit. A lot. Damn it all, staying calm isn't exactly my forte. We meet again. You do remember me, yes? You saved my skin twice over in Yedlamat, and now I find myself turning to you for help once more. We must save Palika's stand, whatever it takes. Matsya, it pains me to put you in harm's way, but I would ask your aid as well. Of course, Palika's stand is not far, just down that hill. But as I told His Excellency before, the path was blocked by terrible creatures. I had no choice but to turn back. In that case, this is what we shall do. Dema, I ask that you take the lead in dispatching the beast you encounter. Alizé and I will keep Matsya hidden amongst the trees. Excuse me. And follow when the path is clear. There is no danger. There is no danger. There is no telling what danger awaits us. Keep your eyes peeled. Ah, so we are finally in the second half of the map. Pretty marbles. I mean, they're all pretty as far as I'm concerned. Oh! These things are hideous. Of course they are, that's the point of them. Oh wow, he's actually got the abilities of the boss. That's interesting. Oh, they're really cool looking mobile mobs. Vadrak, I think we saw him earlier, didn't we? The first times we got here. Apocalypse. Palika's stand. Yep, be with you guys in a second. I'm just gonna tune. Find it interesting that we still haven't been able to attune to the Aetheryte in Razathan. Alizé. It cannot be. Don't you dare. Don't you dare take Alizé away from us. We must heal those we can, and quickly. I see no beasts, but stay on your guard. Horizontal here? The villager has no pulse, nor do they appear to be breathing. Cooling body has already begun to stiffen. Massive wounds suggest the villager was gored by a terrible beast. Although the villager's injuries do not appear to be life-threatening, he does not respond to your efforts. His breathing grows more ragged and shallow, and his vacant eyes are those of a man who has lost the will to live. Even if I wake, the nightmare goes on. No, leave me to sleep. Wow, these guys are all fecked. Ah, you are alive. Hippo, have you come to help us? Too late, too late. My family and my friends. Man, despair. Are these the only villagers who survived? I can only hope others managed to flee, but if the rest have been turned to beasts by the 12. Let's do what we can to see that the damage spreads no further. No matter what comes, we must keep our spirits high, lest we ourselves suffer a similar fate. We now have Ethernet access to the gate of the first. Huh. Development after development after development. And what tricksy developments they are. Got a real problem here. Fear and panic spread like wildfire. But I'm really intrigued. The thing that I think I'm most intrigued about is that little detail about the people transforming coming before the burning skies. Because it makes me think of the meteor showers and Heidelin's voice. You know how it was how Elidibus was saying that it was the meteor showers that enabled people to hear her voice in the first place. Except that's not how it worked with us. We heard the voice first before we saw the meteor shower. And that almost felt like an oversight or a retcon. But what if it wasn't? What if Heidelin's voice isn't always the voice that's being heard? What if what Emmett Selk was saying about... was it Emmett that said Heidelin was a parasite that needs burning out? What if there was more truth to that than he was leading us to believe? Because we need a villain. We need a big bad. And Xenos just isn't interesting enough to carry the culmination of a story on his back. And I think that's kind of the point. I think we're supposed to be... Well, I mean, from a writer's perspective, this idea that Xenos is going to be the big bad of this expansion, and it might be the case, and I feel like that would be a little bit disappointing if it was, considering what is going on. I almost feel like Xenos might actually help in the long run. We'll see. Thank you very much for watching, folks. If you have enjoyed this extended Endwalker reaction commentary series so far, do please leave it a like, spread the wealth, and I'll catch you all in the next bits. Happy endwalking, folks. Doodle pip. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.